I'm gonna give you guys the Reader's Digest version of the girl that I love the most. I started paralegal school when I was 31 years old, and there's this hot 19-year-old in my class. We took a shine to each other immediately, right? Red flag number one that I didn't even think about. One day, I had a headache in class because I suffer from migraines, and she recognized that. She says, "What's wrong?" I said, "Well, I've got a headache." She's like, "All right." Reaches into her purse, and she gives me this big white pill. I'm like, "What is that?" She says, "It's Vicodin." And I was like, "All right." So I took the Vicodin. Headache is gone. What's a 19-year-old doing with a bag full of Vicodin, right? Red flag number two. She had homemade tattoo on her wrist, right? Told me she got it when she was 15. Hold on. Red flag number three. Stay with me. Red flag number three. She had a 6-year-old. She was 19 years old who had a 6-year-old, which means what class? She had her child at 13. The baby daddy was in prison at the time we were dating.
Oh.
Statutory EPAR. It was all downhill from there. Guys, this story gets so much worse.
How old were you?
I was 31. I was 31 years old. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say 17.
Oh, no. I lost my job. I lost the place that I was at. The car that I had was paid for because I paid cash for it. It broke down. I didn't have a job, so I couldn't get it fixed. I'm evicted. I ended up having to live with a couple of her drug addict friends in a quasi crack house. Both people were on felony probation.
What?
You can't make this up. Both people, the guy and the girl, were on probation for felony possession. They were on felony probation, ankle bracelets, the whole night. And so I lived there, and so I had to live there, right? And so finally, and I kept trying to get back with her. September 16th, baby daddy gets out of prison. So I called her up. The next day. I was like, "Hey, meet me at this gas station." Then I called up my brother, and I borrowed $800. He gave me $800. I went to the jewelry store. I bought her a ring, proposed to her. Listen, I'm telling you. Listen, it gets worse. So now, all of her friends are like, "Oh, she's getting engaged." Well, eventually she started getting the baby daddy behind my back, of course. So we were in this love triangle. Anytime she was pissed off at me, she'd go and fuck him. Anytime she was pissed off at him, she would come and me. This girl calls me up and tells me that she was now engaged to be married to Ben, right? I'm crushed, I'm heartbroken, I'm crestfallen. I'm doing pills, I'm doing drugs. For 10th, the guy, so it's a boyfriend and girlfriend in the crack house. The guy, I was at the library, the probation officer arrested the guy. So then he's in jail for probation violation. So it's just me and his girlfriend. I had no interest in her. It was not like that at all. Well, he was feeling some type of way about the fact that I was staying there. So he called his landlord and told him that I was staying there without their permission. New Year's Day, little Jamaican man comes to the door. He points at me. He's like, "You don't live here. And if you're not out of here by 9 o'clock the next morning, the sheriff will come and put you out." I called my brother again. I was like, "Dude, I'm going to be homeless." So he bought me a bus ticket to Atlanta, and I go down to Atlanta where my mother and brother were living, and kind of started over then. 100%. Yep, 100%. And the thing is you have to understand female nature, and it's funny. A lot of people I have had discussions with, they say, "Well, you have mother. What if you had a daughter?" And I'm like, "Look, man, the truth is the truth. Whether the truth applies to all women, whether they're related to us familially or not. I love my mother and I love my sisters. They were hoes, man. My mom was a hoe. Listen, my mom was a hoe when she was married. My mom cheated on my dad and had at least 2. Both of my sisters have had at least I was there for one of them. So I know and I've witnessed this stuff firsthand. And there are a lot of guys who would like to think, "Well, that doesn't apply to my mom." Yes, Mom, I love you to death. You brought me into this world. I will be forever grateful. But that doesn't mean I can't acknowledge that she was a hoe. That's all. I've been Preacher just a couple of virtue signaling you-know-what. Preacher's wife is still a land whale. I would still kick Preacher's ass in a fight. And Abba still was milked from the backside. Are you really going to listen? Are you really going to listen to life advice and take your cues from a dude who got milked from the back, and a dude who has a land whale of a wife who says maybe 3 words a podcast? Or do you want to take your cues from a man who's been through some shit? But do I help you guys? Is your life better for having subscribed to my channel? Is your life better? Have you learned more? Has your life improved? I can't answer that for you. Only you can.
Chat, y'all already know what it is. Like, listen, okay, normally I don't film or stream on Sundays, but listen, today's episode is going to be a little special because it's just one of those things that, you know, when you just have to go back on an information that you previously viewed, all right? And then when you go back on said information, you tend to find new things, right? You uncover new sayings. You realize that there were pieces that were in that particular video or evidence or whatever it is that you were looking at that you missed. And that's what this episode is going to be on a Sunday. And we're going to be reviewing the Donny boy's alleged story that he gave out on Pearl's podcast. Look at me, I'm chuckling already. This shit has got to get hilarious. So y'all already know what it is, all right? I got the music turned up. I'm going to turn it all the way down. All right, matter of fact, I'm going to just turn it all the way off, all right? But guys, you already know what it is. Go ahead and hit the like button. We got the hood up with the cap backwards. You already know we about to roast somebody, all right? We about to roast somebody, and that person is Donny boy. And why not? Okay, why not? Okay, this guy has been spreading lies and misinformation along with his butt buddy Rolo Tamarsi and his army of Rolo-tards, spreading all these falsehoods throughout these, just throughout the Manosphere, pretty much trapping a bunch of young men into just a lifestyle of just simping. All right, and just cuckery, all right, cuck and simps and people in the closet. That's what this space has eventually become. No thanks to guys like Donny Boy and Rolo Tomasi. Okay, so I think that any chance to just drive the message home to a lot of the guys who are still waking up out there to realize that the red pill, popping the real pill means that these guys are frauds, I will take that opportunity to do that. All right, so guys, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you like the show, all right? And let's go ahead and get into it. So here's the thing, right? We got to talk about this because for those of you guys, how this came about was basically a lot of you guys were like, well, Duke, you covered the ABBA video, all right, where Donny Boy was telling that ridiculous story about his coming to the red pill moment, right? When he was shocked and got his red pill moment, all right? And it was Abba and Preach that were talking about that, but realistically, Duke, you missed a whole lot to that story. And I'm like, what you talking about? They're like, dude, if you actually go on the actual Pearl's page or Donny Boy's YouTube channel, I think MTR clipped a version of it too, right? He actually tells more. Abba and Preach only had a little piece of the story, and I'm like, get the hell out of here, all right? What could be worse than what we done already heard from Donny Boy himself, right? Guys, I shit you not. I went back and I watched from the point of where like the Abba and Preach video had it, and I just kept watching. I didn't stop watching, and y'all were right. Y'all were absolutely right. This man just not only exposes himself on a monumental scale that just like the embarrassment level is just ridiculous at this point, but just the things that comes out of this loser's mouth about his own mom, his sisters, even his fiance, right? Devin, right? It was just, I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, yo, I can't believe I missed this and I didn't even actually bother to look up the original video. So that's what we're doing here today, okay? We're going to correct that mistake. We are going to collectively, you, me, the chat, all right? We are going to cover this video and just break down a couple things to help you guys understand something, all right? And that key thing is, whatever comes out of this loser's mouth, Donny Boy, okay, just so you know, his daddy, Rolo, co-signed all of it. Matter of fact, it's so bad, he came out to defend this nonsense. So let's go ahead and get on with it, guys, all right? As I pull the video up, first of all, let me know if the audio is good. You already know it's not a Duke the Don official stream unless we're having some kind of audio issue. So please do your best. Help me out in the chat. And let me know if y'all can hear this because this is about to get crazy, all right? So, guys, just so we make sure we're not taking anything out of context, all right? So these Rolotards don't come in here and say, Duke, you're playing the video out of context. First of all, this shit is still on Pearl's channel, and MTR did a whole clip on it, all right? They definitely eating off of this dude's story. But to before you venture in, you got to ask yourself, what possesses a creature like Donny Boy to go ahead and just say something like this to everyone, right? And I've come up with a couple theories about that, and one of them is this, okay? This theory is, I think that Donny Boy has a problem. I mean, that's obvious. But I mean, like, he has a problem as in like a weird obsession, okay? And when he gets engaged into things, right, whether there's the Manosphere, the RedPill movement, right, or single mothers, when he really engages with something, he throws everything at it, right? So we got to give him at least that kind of, flowers, I guess. But the problem is, when do you go so hard and realize maybe you've gone too far? Right? And I think that's what the explanation of this story is, right? When you try to appear so much as like this righteous loser that made it from a rags to riches type of thing, right? Because in every Manosphere situation, you always have to have a rags to riches story, right? I used to be a zero and now I'm a hero. I used to be a loser. Look at me now, ma. So that's basically what it is, right? So I think this story was him trying to make a real life genuine connection on a podcast on how he came to his red pill moment by having this brutal situation happen to him, right? By a 19-year-old heroin addict, by the way, all right? Now, listen, on the top hand of things, right? This would have been understandable because I know guys out there that have gone through way worse shit than this. However, when does age and experience come into play, right? And that's what makes this situation completely different than your 17-year-old going through this bullshit, your 22-year-old going through this bullshit, or hell, I'll even give it up to your 28 or 27-year-old going through this bullshit, right? But at 31 years of age, like, it's just, let's just play the video.
Feminism.
Shout out.
Right? You know, they put the workplace over the man.
I'll tell you guys a story.
This Duke Alex from PWF is live. Invite him on. Alex can come on anytime. He's welcome on the platform.
I love the most. This story is it's absolutely crazy. To make a very long story very short, I started paralegal school when I was 31 years old, and there's this hot 19-year-old in my class. We took a shine to each other immediately, right? It was a great relationship. We spent every day together, blah, 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 blah. Red flag number one that I didn't even think about. One day, I had a headache in class because I suffer from migraines, and she recognized that. She says, "What's wrong?" I said, "Well, I've got a headache." She's like, "All right." Reaches into her purse, and she gives me this big white pill. I'm like, "What is that?" She says, "It's Vicodin." And I was like, "All right." So I took the Vicodin. Headache is gone. What's a 19-year-old doing with a bag full of Vicodin, right?
The drug dealer, right?
No problem at all. Red flag number two. She had homemade tattoo on her wrist, right? Told me she got it when she was 15. Hold on. Red flag number three. Stay with me. Red flag number three. She had a 6-year-old. She was 19 years old who had a 6-year-old, which means what class? She had her child at 13, which
I like how he put in that what class? What does that mean? Like, he's actually trying to educate people here. like this shit that he's saying is not a total embarrassment, right?
she was having at 12. It gets even better. The baby daddy was in prison at the time we were dating.
Oh.
Statutory EPAR. Here's the reason why they didn't throw the book at him with Jessica's Law. It's because she testified to the jury that she seduced him, and the jury actually bought it. The jury actually bought it. So let's set the scene. So my birthday, I open up Facebook to get all the birthday love. She left her account open on my computer on Facebook.
And like a true insecure man.
All kinds of stuff. Drove to her place. I said, "I want you to be honest with me. Have you cheated on me?" I wanted her to lie to me. And I wanted her to lie to me so I could just keep up the delusion. She said, "Honestly, yes." That is the worst emotional pain I've ever felt in my life. To this day, I never will. Dude, I went to her bathroom, I puked, ripped off the necklace. She's blowing me up at work all day long. I'm sorry. I can't pick up the phone. So finally, I picked up the phone. She's like, hey, I'm sorry, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, da-da-da-da-da. She's like, look, I want to come to your place. I have a birthday surprise for you. So she comes over. She has like this little cupcake, and she bought me a watch that she knew I was looking at. Then she turns around, lifts up her shirt. There was my name tattooed on the small of her back. Dude, my hand to the man. So I was back in her clutches. Things went all.
Wait a minute, time out. I got a couple things to say about this, right? First things first. At 31 years old, supposed a high value man, or maybe you didn't discover the high value concept at that time. But you were in paralegal school, so you were at least going to school to get on your way, right? So let me get this straight. You could realize that alone in itself was a red flag, right? And let me ask you this. Realistically, don't you think that, wait a minute. So you telling me all it takes for a woman to buy you off is a watch and a tattoo on her lower back? Is that all it is is that all it takes for you, Donny boy, to ignore all the red flags to basically go ahead? Oh my God. You're cheap. You're fucking cheap, bro. That's exactly what it is, bro. Because, listen, as you sit here and try to portray yourself as this guy has values, this guy who has morals, things like that, bro, you telling me all it took was a watch and lower back tattoo to get you right back into the set. You ain't even asked for a BJ. You ain't even asked for, her to eat the ass. I guess, we're RedPill, so we can't have booty eating, right? But alpha male strategy, what does alpha male strategy do? I mean, you shout about all the time. He says you go on, eat a whole lot of ass, right? So you're not even having her do that. It's just a watch and a tattoo to get you back. Realistically, doesn't it, you noticing all those red flags? Don't you know that if it's that easy for her to just go ahead and get a tattoo, don't you think she'd be able to just do that easily with any other man? I mean, you already mentioned at the start of it, she had 2 or 3 homemade tattoos. How do you know that them homemade tattoos she had before meeting you weren't little tokens of the niggas she used to fuck with before you? The reason why I'm highly critical of this, guys, is this guy is 31. And I'm not the only one that actually has that same, realization on this panel here. Hold up.
It was all downhill from there. Guys, this story gets so much worse.
How old were you?
I was 31. I was 31 years old. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say 17.
Oh, no. So she continued cheating on me, right? So I'm always trying to catch her. I lost my job. I lost the place that I was at. The car that I had was paid for because I paid cash for it. It broke down. I didn't have a job, so I couldn't get it fixed. I'm evicted. I ended up having to live with a couple of her drug addict friends in a quasi crack house. Both people were on felony probation.
What?
You can't make this up. Both people, the guy and the girl, were on probation for felony possession. They were on felony probation, ankle bracelets, the whole nine. And so I lived there, and so I had to live there, right? And so finally, and I kept trying to get back with her. September 16th, baby daddy gets out of prison. Okay, baby daddy gets out of prison. I called her up on September 15th. I said, you know what? I can't do it. I think you still love Ben. I can't do it anymore. Dude, she cried her eyes out. Hung up the phone. I stayed up all night long. I couldn't sleep. So I called her up. I called her up the next day. I was like, hey, meet me at this gas station. Then I called up my brother and I borrowed $800. He gave me $800. I went to the jewelry store. I bought her a ring, proposed to her.
Look at FTR.
Proposed. Listen, I'm telling you.
Yo!
Listen, it gets worse. It gets worse. I swear to God.
Yo!
People wonder why I speak with such conviction about these things. Dude. Look.
Yo, no. We know why you speak about women with such anger, bro. Because up until the age of 31, you were clueless, clearly, right? And the thing is, the age doesn't make any sense, right? The age doesn't make any sense. And what I mean by that is, if you listen to his past content, and even you read some of his like stuff that he had on Return to Kings, and even some of the stuff he has written on other platforms too, right? He talks about how much of a womanizer he was back in the day when he was way younger, right? He doesn't talk, I mean, I'm assuming way younger than 31 or 32 or anything like that. I think he was talking about how he fell right in line pretty quickly and mastered the art of women. So it was a clear, if you look at the contrast with this story versus the crap he's been talking about in the past, and the little, y'all know the little cartoon skits he used to put together where he used to model it after his life, and he was like, yeah, there was this one time I used to have all these different girls together. It's clearly lying, because this guy didn't have any experience or didn't know shit about women until he was 31, the ripe old age of 31, which is crazy to me, bruh. And at 31, I find it surprising that the woman you decided to not only start your experience with as a, you know, budding high value man, but the woman you also decided to want to commit to was a single mother. Right? And some of y'all would think, oh, wow, you know, given the stories he puts out there and the lessons he teaches young men, you would think that, you know, after going through this bullshit with the single mom, he would never, ever, ever, ever again find himself in a situation where he's proposing or is getting married to another single mom. Oh, wait. oh, wait. That's right. This guy isn't going to change. This guy can't change, okay? He has a weird thing for single moms, and either it's because he doesn't really have a whole lot of options, or he, like, doesn't have a whole lot of options, because you can't compare a guy who talks about all this, you know, I'm a high value man of options, man of value, right? And then this is all you can end up with, like a post-wall single mom, right? The same thing that you hate. Like you've literally become what you hate, Donny boy. I hope you understand that, right? Jesus freaking Christ. Like, it's so ridiculous, man. And you know what? You know what's crazy for those of you guys who were for those of you guys in the back, right? Because y'all say y'all probably thinking, well, you know, he's 31. He wasn't high value then, right? This guy literally was going to paralegal school, right? He that's what he said. He met this single mom heroin addict at paralegal school. So I mean, if you're going to paralegal school, I'm assuming you're going to school to be a high value man, right? Because I'm assuming lawyers probably would make more money if you could find a job, right? So you mean to tell me, moments after meeting this woman in college, you completely derail your entire life? Because that's what it sounds like, bro. That's what it sounds like. After one encounter with a single mom, it completely derailed your high value life, because it doesn't seem like things were looking good from here on out.
It gets worse. It gets worse. So she says yes, right? So now, you know, all of her friends are like, oh, she's getting engaged. Well, eventually she started fucking the baby daddy behind my back.
Of course.
So we were in this love triangle. Anytime she was pissed off at me, she'd go and fuck him. Anytime she was pissed off at him, she would come and fuck me. So finally on Thanksgiving, I had to call my family. This was in North Carolina. My brother comes out into this quasi crack house, and he's kind of looking around, and they're all looking up at him like, that's your brother? And of course we look alike. And so I'll never forget, man, I'm telling my brother about the situation. He's like, my real name's Alex. He says, Alex, what are you doing? And I said to him, dude, you don't choose who you love. I still loved her. So he drives me back after Thanksgiving dinner. This girl calls me up and tells me that she was now engaged to be married to Ben, right? I'm crushed. I'm heartbroken. I'm crestfallen. I'm doing pills. I'm doing drug.
From the time that you recognized the tattoo and that she had a 6-year-old to this time, how long has time progressed?
I met her the first day of the second semester, so right in January. So this happened between January. This happened in one calendar year.
Damn!
So,
whoa! No, you definitely can't, nigga. It took 1 year for a 19-year-old to derail your entire life? Holy shit. Fuck that. The second semester, bro. It went downhill second semester paralegal school. Are you that weak-minded, bro? Holy shit. Oh my god! Like, yo, the more he keeps talking, it's like, yo, dog, why are you telling this story? At least listen. I get it. You know, most politicians, you're following the age-old addict, right? You know, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. But if you capping here, bruh, like, please let us know, because this does not look good, dog. Especially contrasting it to who you're trying to be now. Right? Who you're the Donny boy of today, right? The guy is saying, say no to single moms. This is modern women, right? This is who they are, right? You pointing out all these tenets, right? It doesn't add up that this used to be you. Oh my God. It took a year.
So now I've lost her. I've lost her forever. So now I'm doing drugs and all this other kind of stuff. During the time I was living at that quasi crack house, they were telling me, yeah, she this guy, that guy. During the summer, she lost an exorbitant. She was already a small girl.
Yeah.
She lost an exorbitant amount of weight. I found out that she was shooting heroin all summer long. I had no idea. She kept, dude. It was unbelievable. So anyway, so New Year's Day comes around. Oh,
Is that all he was worried about? Listen, bro. If somebody I was messing around with, all of a sudden goes from being skinny to damn near anorexic, like, in the span of like a summer, I'm gonna be worried a lot more than the drugs, bro. It's just like, dog, hey, listen, you got something that I need to know, I need to worry about, some kind of medical condition. Like, why are you losing weight? Like, bro, she's a heroin addict. They do some strange things for a little bit of change, dog. So like, you gotta figure out who she's been with, you know, how if there was protection used, because, you know, if someone's saying you dropped that amount of weight, bro, you might have the HIV, you don't even know it. You don't even know it, bro. Or you might get that itch that Fresh was talking about that you can't scratch. That is just an odd situation to be in.
oh, wait a minute. Let me back up. December 10th, the guy. So it's a boyfriend and girlfriend.
Look at MTR
in the crack house. The guy. I was at the library. The
I bet you it was a public library too. That's where all homeless niggas go. I'm telling you, for y'all, you don't believe me? Hey, y'all that live in America, if your neighborhood got a public library, all right, go in there and you let me know if you don't smell like cheap Doritos and piss.
Listen, the probation officer arrested the guy. So then he's in jail for probation violation. So it's just me and his girlfriend. I had no interest in her. It was not like that at all. Well, he was feeling some type of way about the fact that I was staying there. So he called his landlord and told him that I was staying there without their permission. New Year's Day, little Jamaican man comes to the door. He points at me. He's like, you don't live here. And if you're not out of here by 9 o'clock the next morning, the sheriff will come and put you out. I told my brother again. I was like, dude, I'm going to be homeless. So he bought me a bus ticket to Atlanta, and I go down to Atlanta where my mother and brother were living, and kind of started over then. So
You know what I find interesting about this, right? Because he was on a show, right? Because it was his show, actually. It was called The Seven. And in that particular show, they were trying to discuss what high value really meant, right? He, Kevin Samuels, and Myron Gaines, Solo TV84, and who's the other clown, right? They were all discussing that, hey, a high value man, if you were to choose between a teacher and an NFL player, well, everyone's going to see an NFL player, obviously, as high value, right? So I found that very, very interesting, right? Because Donny Boy's brother was a teacher or is a teacher, right? And if you listen to the story that this guy is telling, listen to how many times he had to call and rely on his teacher brother, that now that he's somehow YouTube famous, he's looking back on that and thinks he's too good for that. You see how crazy that is, right? While this guy was going through it, the most valuable person in his life that helped him out, no questions asked, was his teacher brother. Fast forward today, now he's preaching all this high-value nonsense. Now teachers are all of a sudden not as valuable as an NFL player. Hey, why didn't you call Tom Brady when you were going through it? Huh? What? Hey, there are tons of ball players. They're valuable. Maybe they can come in and do a Make-A-Wish Foundation, right? Make-A-Wish for Donny. Help a Donny out, right? You're homeless. You got the perfect backstory, right? Hey, can y'all imagine that, right? It's just an NFL commercial come out. You got Tom Brady out there. Hey, guys. Welcome to Help a Homeless Person, all right? We have here Donny Boy. He's been homeless, all right, done in by his ex-heroin drug addict girlfriend, and now he's telling me that he's going to get evicted by a little Jamaican nigga. Help my brother out. Bro, first of all, I can't believe out of that whole entire story, you let a little Jamaican boy punk you. Like, does anyone else find that insane? Listen, the reason why I find it funny, because if you listen to Donny Boy long enough, he tries to put this kind of persona, like he's like this tough guy, and if you look at him or you talk to him the wrong way, he might knock you out, right? That's the way he talks. You know, the alpha chess beater over here, right? And then you come to find out that this guy, you know, if you put it to the test, he's actually a bitch, right? Even when people were, before Anthony Johnson actually dropped that exposed video, because he's a felon. He's a multiple time, I think he's a 3-time convicted felon, right? So he's got some felonies on his belt. But when before we knew what the felonies were all about, he would go on live streams and talk about, oh man, dude, you check my background, bro. You check my background, bro. That last guy to talk to me, oh, I'd have knocked him out. Like, he would talk like he is the toughest guy in the book, right? And then when Anthony Johnson exposed him, right, he exposed that his felonies, they weren't actually from him getting in trouble or being locked up for fighting. No, it was none of that. It was for identity fraud. Like, this dude is a 3-time convicted felon for identity fraud. Okay? And when you look at his past and you look at his current story today and how he basically was hanging around homeless people, right, and homeless addicts, listen, there's no one who is more down to lose it all because they ain't got shit than a heroin addict. Or someone who is living next to heroin addict. And Donny Boy was in that situation. So I'm just saying, bro, I find all of this very interesting, that when you were down on your luck and no one else to help you out, the same low-value teacher that you talk about today, right, was the one there side by side with you to help you out, no questions asked. But now that you're this supposed high-value man, which is Cap, you're now looking down on people who are teachers. The reason why I harp on this is because these guys come out here and tell you that, oh, no, doing something like, you know, being a blue-collar worker or a teacher or, you know, something that's really integral to a community, that's lame. You want to be in a situation where you're making high-value cash. You know, women see you as a 6-figure, high-earning person, right? So what if there was a young man out there that really had a passion for teaching? Now he's listening to Andrew Tate and Donny Boy over here, and now he's saying, you know what? I want to go pimp out girls on OnlyFans. Why not? I can make 10 bands in a month, right? That's the inherent problem. Y'all got to understand, these economic opportunities these Manosphere losers are preaching on to you, it's not going to get you anywhere, realistically. If you have a goal of being a teacher, you want to be a banker, you know, you want to be something that's structural to society and contributes, not this online, you know, weird, underhanded way of making money, go ahead and do it. Don't let these losers with weird ass backstories convince you otherwise, all right? Because high value isn't about money or status. It's about character at the end of the day. And if you look at Donny Boy, there's no character or integrity whatsoever.
So I lived in Atlanta for 6 months, decided to move to Vegas. It was that's a whole big long story. A couple of months into living in Vegas, I get a phone call from a mutual friend of ours, me and the girls, right? And she's like, you are never going to believe this. I was like, well, what happened? She said, Ben is dead. I was like, this is her husband now, right? The baby daddy. They got married. She says, Ben is dead. Here's what happened. 2 weeks after she married this guy, she started having an affair, right? She started cheating on him.
She's a lovely lady.
Wow.
So the story goes is that he gave her $20 to go out and get Chinese food. She took her daughter with her, goes to the guy's house, calls him up and says, hey, I'm leaving you and I'm gonna be here with this guy with the daughter. Of course, he loses his mind. He drives out to the trailer. He starts kicking in the door. The guy on the other side of the door says, if you kick down this door, I am going to shoot you. He kicked down the door and caught a shotgun slug to the chest, done and killed immediately. It gets even worse. They had to put a bracelet on her because they suspect that she might be the shooter, right?
Hey, yo!
One more time.
Hey,
and again,
whoa!
this is irrelevant. This is when I still had my car. I'm driving to her place from work. Driving to her place.
You mean they looked at her as a suspect? Oh my god! Oh my god! Hey, yo, that had me, dog. That had me, yo. Hold up. Yo, that could easily been your ass, dog. Like, real talk. Yo, Donny, dog. Oh, Donny, bro. God God damn it. I'm sorry, Ted. Yo, I can see why your life was derailed, dog. Like, yo, this is a horrible situation to be in. Like, how did you at 31 not realize all of this is just bad news? Like, yo, chat, that could have easily been him. Like, real talk, that could have easily been this dude. Bruh. Like, throughout the whole relationship, the fact that she was bouncing around from guys to guys and it didn't seem like she had her head on straight, and she was doing all these hard drugs while she had kids, right? And you already pointed out a few red flags yourself. You didn't at any point in time say, you know what? I think it's time to plan an exit strategy here. Something's not working out, right? Instead, you got hooked on drugs, borrowed money from your brother. You got evicted, right? Jesus Christ. You're a fucking loser, dog. You're like, and the fact that you have the balls to come up here on YouTube, all right, and start judging everybody and how they live their life, and you coming out of this mess. See, listen, it's one thing if you were going through this at a younger age, right? But if you're doing this at 31, listen, your life obviously wasn't going in a good direction. And I believe that after this is probably when you met Devin. And I'm honestly, I think that woman saved your life. Like, real talk. And the way you treat her and talk about her, like, on your streams and on your platforms for thousands of people to see, I just think it is just the wrong and totally just disrespectful way to honor a woman that literally pulled you out of the gutter. Because at this point, the more I look at you and the more shit you say, Donny boy, the more I start to realize that realistically, I don't think you could have hacked it on your own in real life. Like, I don't think you have the real world skills to even make it in this world alone. Like, you don't have those skills whatsoever, bro. Like, if they took you out of that marriage situation right now and put you out there by yourself, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it because you already have a track record, dog. You had to rely on your brother and so many other platforms to get to where you are. And if it wasn't for Devin, bro, I don't think you would be here. That's why I think it's so weird that you disrespect her the way you do, talking about, when I leave her, I'll make sure she has something, because I know she's old and, she's gonna have a hard time getting another, guy to be a partner to her. So let me just go. See, guys, that's why I got her fake tits, okay? Because I know she's gonna get old and not a lot of guys are gonna be. Matter of fact, the guys that are gonna be interested in her are gonna be Walmart brand niggas. All right, she's not gonna attract a high value guy like me no more, right? Or all these other weird shit where you talk about how much dick she's gotten or how much of a hoe she was before you met her, and like it's just sad looking at all this, knowing that this woman most likely pulled you out of the gutter, bruh. Because, like, the way your life was heading at 31, bruh, yo, it wasn't a good trajectory, dog. Like, it was not.
Place from work. I get to her place, and there are 3 cop cars in the driveway. I'm thinking it's because of something that happened next door, because the dude was always beating on his girl, right? That's the kind of place this was. The cops were at her place. She got arrested for possession. The people I was staying with had called the cops and ratted her out. So now she's in jail, right?
Damn.
And of course,
so even the people she was staying with couldn't even be trusted. So you're not even you yourself aren't even in a situation where the people around you can even be trusted. You're surrounded by Judas, bro. Like, you be her own friend snitched on her. Damn, bro, this is not a good situation.
To save my fair maiden, I called up an old roommate and borrowed $1,350 to bail her out. She gets out, I love you, then goes right back to Ben.
I thought Ben was shot.
So now we fast forward.
You said Ben was dead.
I backed up.
He backed up.
Okay.
This was before.
Oh, okay.
So you bailed out.
Yep.
The young lady who had left you.
Yep.
To go back, and then when you borrowed the money.
It was back and forth.
You borrowed the money, so you had to pay back this money to someone else who has nothing to do with the situation. And then she went back straight while she had the tattoo of you on her.
Damn.
Okay, keep going. I got like 15 questions to ask you.
I got 100.
I'm almost done. So now we fast forward. So Ben is now dead. I don't know how they got away with it, but he's not the guy is not in jail. she ends up marrying the guy that killed Ben and had another daughter.
Yo!
The original-
Hey, throw her and the bathwater away, bro. She belongs to the street. Matter of fact, she is the streets. Yo! 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 Where did? Oh my God, bro! Listen. Oh. I got so many questions, dog.
Oh, baby daddy is dead. The original baby
Oh,
daddy.
Ben was the original baby.
Ben was the
I'm
original baby
getting the
daddy.
names. Okay.
Oh,
Ben was-
lovely.
So you telling me the dude she fucking killed her daughter's father, right? And she married the Yo, I could see, that is not an ordinary 19-year-old. I hope y'all know that. That is not a normal 19-year-old, bro. Like, that's a demon. That's a whole ass demon, bro. That is Lucifer incarnate. You got to get rid of her, bro. She is out here to destroy lives. Like, bro, that is wild to me. I mean, even just looking at that scenario, right? Just think about the kid, right? Because fathers, they have a really, really strong connection with their daughters. So how is that daughter gonna look at that man that's gonna be her stepdaddy, knowing that he killed her real daddy? Like, that's such a fucked up situation. Just told you that anyone who puts themselves in that situation is not mentally stable. And if the woman, the 19-year-old single mom heroin addict that you were dating, is in that situation, she's not in the right state of mind. And if you are facilitating bail money, facilitating a wedding ring for marriage, you are an enabler and you're not helping her situation, and she's gonna drag you down. So the fact that at 31 years old you couldn't figure out this basic life rule, bruh, you don't deserve to be teaching anybody anything after this bullshit, bruh.
The lady went to the guy who
Yo.
killed Ben.
And
Yes.
now, okay.
It's fucked
So
up.
and so now
Wow.
she ended up marrying the guy who killed her first husband, had another daughter with him. So the father of her first child was killed by the father of her second child. You cannot make this up.
Nah.
And so this is why people always wonder why I'm so passionate and I'm so sure. I have seen the worst. I've been in the worst of the worst situations. It is the worst situation I have ever been in. But to this day, I can freely admit that I have never loved anyone or anything as much as I loved her.
Whoa! You're married to Devin right now. How can you even say that? What the fuck? You mean to tell me, like, if this chick was still around, you'd go back to her? What the fuck? Yo! He just said, till this day, I have never loved anyone else. Yo. You can't make this shit up. Yo, Devin, leave. Devin, I feel sorry. Oh my God, yo, Chad, I'm so sorry. Chad, Devin, run, bro. Devin, get the fuck out of that relationship now. This nigga does not love you. He does not give a shit. He just openly admitted. Yo, I gotta play that back. Yo, what am I hearing? This dude is ridiculous. What the fuck? Yo.
Had another daughter with
Yo.
him. So the father of her first child was killed by the father of her second child. You cannot make this up. And so this is why people always wonder why I'm so passionate and I'm so sure. I have seen the worst. I've been in the worst of the worst situations. It is the worst situation I have ever been in. But to this day, I can freely admit that I have never loved anyone or anything as much as I loved her.
Whoa, Devin, yo, divorce his ass right now, bro. Like, he is letting you know, if this chick were to walk around coming out here with her 2 kids and wanted to get a piece of that, he gonna leave. That's what he's saying, because he doesn't even love you. Yo, Donny boy, you're horrible. Bruh, hold up. You're the worst, dog. You are the worst. I can't believe, bro, the fact that you proposed to Devin, right? Like, yo, this is so funny, dog. You proposed to Devin, you're marrying her, and you're still thinking about a 19-year-old that fucked you over back when you were 31? bruh. Yo.
And that is my Red Pill story.
I need this girl to give some girl game. She's
Facts.
getting rings left and right.
I have viscous innards made of plutonium.
It certainly felt like it. it certainly felt like it. The girl, like,
I just want to know.
she was 19. She was 19. She was hot. Had a southern twang. I mean, it was all
we
there.
can hate, but she's gotten more proposals than I have.
Proposals from guys who were clearly either simping or who had gone to jail with
Look.
for having relations with her at 12 years.
Nigga, that's you. Yo, why are you all of a sudden talking in third person? Nigga, you were part of that demographic.
Old.
What the fuck?
Look.
What?
Questions.
What?
Would Donovan have been Donovan if Donovan was exposed to Donovan's work today at 31 years old?
Yeah, I would not have made that mistake. I would not have made that mistake with her. And you know what's interesting? A lot of times I think
Nah, Cap. I think you would, because even after all that bullshit, you still with a single mama right now.
actually, you know what? No, I think I still would have gone down that road.
I told you. Nigga, I know you better than you know yourself, Donny boy. At this point, you're ridiculous. I'm glad he had to correct himself. He said, "You know what? Actually, nah, I would have still been the same simp ass loser. Even if I had the Manosphere, I would have still been a simp." If that Donny boy had someone like me right now, I'd still go down the same path. You're a self-destructive individual. Like, listen, I wouldn't tell you, Donny boy, listen, bro. If it wasn't for Devin, you wouldn't have made it in the real world. I'm a believer. I'm a believer, bro. Because at 31, if you haven't figured this shit out yet, there's no hope. There's no freaking hope, bro. Like, realistically, how can you just say that? Bro, the story tells it all. It tells you all his mentality. That's why I have such a problem when he teaches men and tries to coach men, because you know deep down this guy has not changed. He's still the same Donny. Like, he's still the same guy that if that said 19-year-old right now walked through them door, he's gonna dump Devin and move in with her. Guaranteed. He just said that. He said he wouldn't love anybody else the way he loved that woman. Meanwhile, he's got a whole fiance behind the scenes. Like, what in the actual fuck? You see what I'm saying? Like, the way he treats this woman versus the impact she's had on his YouTube channel, his YouTube career, and even the stray bullets she took from Anthony Johnson and everybody else who were coming at her in the Manosphere because of decisions you made, Donny boy. I find it so crazy. And you want to know why the Manosphere is filled with a bunch of guys right now who are running around here blaming women for the actions that they made without taking accountability. This is where it comes from. This man is talking about, well, now you know my whole story and why I became the red pill and the tenets of female nature. This is how it is. You got Pearl in the background like, yo, hey, send me her number. I want to get a marriage proposal. Right? Bruh. If you mean to tell me, dog, just the way, I'm just thinking, guys, listen to this, guys, imagine this. You got a fiance, right? You had a little love, a passionate love back in the day when you were younger, but you're a grown man now and you got a fiance. And ladies, please, if you guys are in the chat, answer this question for me. If a man who you're dealing with right now that has proposed to you and is going to be your husband goes on a podcast with 1 million+ subscribers and said that the woman of his past, where he had that passionate love that almost ruined his life and killed him, right? He would never love another woman like that, even to this day. And you're currently married to him. How would you currently look at your fiance? Would it be with love and adoration and respect? Or would it be the other, disdain and just disgust? Because something ain't right with this. Like, this is crazy.
Because
his reactions are
here's
Yeah.
well,
it's
here's
ridiculous.
the thing. As men, we're hard-headed. Most lessons that men encounter, you can't teach. Some lessons can't be taught. Some lessons you gotta learn. That was a lesson. Dude, everybody could have told me, stay away from her. I was in love, man. Like, dude, she's the hottest girl at school. She's showing me off. I mean, I was in love. I had to, and I am so fortunate to have made it out of that armpit of a county in rural North Carolina. It is literally the lowest I have ever been in my life. And to be able to sit here with all of my accomplishments despite having gone through that, that's a miracle.
While
It's
trashing
a fucking
Devin.
miracle.
You pulled yourself up out of hell.
I did. Mhm.
Holy shit! Like
I've heard this.
I got anxiety hearing that entire
man.
story. So as you're going through this, you're not thinking to yourself, "Oh, because of the E-rap or E-par
Yep.
that happened in her life, man, maybe she did something's going on. Maybe because of a lack of a father, man, I shouldn't have. Maybe because she just decided to get a tattoo of me after she cheated on me.
I met her father. Her father was in and out of prison her entire life.
And that wasn't a red flag? Wow. You're an idiot. At 31, you couldn't even see that as a bad idea? Wow.
In and out of
dude.
prison her entire life.
Do you think that men? Okay,
It was
because
crazy.
I've noticed this, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. I feel like sometimes men like the girls with. I don't want to say like the girls with a troubled past, but like the reason there's an attraction to it is because they want to feel like they saved her or like helped her. Like
Yeah.
men like to feel.
No. It's not that. No. It's a little bit of that, but it's not that. See, what Pearl is harping on to is something that I've been talking about on this channel recently, right? And you will only hear it here, right? Guys like Donny Boy, these guys who claim they're quote unquote good guys, all right, they are attracted to loose women or quote unquote the whores that they like to rail that they hate, right? These guys are attracted to what they don't like, right? They like a lot of times you hear in the Manosphere, oh, these guys, we want virgins, we want good girls, we want all these women that are pure, right? That's cap, because women who are pure, they don't have experience, right? And it's not a whole lot of things, and it's one of those things that with lack of experience, a lot of those dudes, they're gonna be bored. And it's not just experience in the bedroom, experience conversation wise, like experience with just even dealing with the relationship turbulence, go ups and downs. It's just gonna be a lot of new things. And on top of that, with good girls, it takes a lot of work because they have a lot of barriers you have to work through. A lot of guys who quote unquote say they're looking for good girls, when they run up into that first barrier, they're not ready for any of that. But here's the thing, the reason why they gravitate towards quote unquote hoes or women who are out there like that, or 304s, is because 304s, they're more free-spirited, right? And that's actually a verbiage that these guys use as a tag for women you should stay away from. Any woman that considers herself free-spirited is a 304. They use that, right? But typically women like that are free-spirited, they're out there, they're more confident, they're outgoing, they just have this allure around them that attracts a lot of guys. And even a lot of guys who aren't as confident like Donny Boy, because that's a thing. It's an opposite thing. They inspire that in guys like that, especially, right? So, and on top of that, when those girls deal with guys like Donny Boy, these quote unquote good guys with little experience, they know who they have. They know who they're dealing with. They know they're dealing with a simp. They know they're dealing with a novice, someone who doesn't understand what's really going on or how the game really works. And they run that game right over you. Rough shots, bruh. And you won't even know it. Why? Because again, they're charismatic, they're outgoing, they're magnetic. Obviously they'll sleep with you and they'll give you the best fucking sex you will ever have versus the inexperienced good girl. And that's the crazy thing. So a lot of these guys like Donny Boy, if you can catch someone like that, especially when you catch him young and he was an older guy, you then have the added factor of, hey, I'm an old 31-year-old guy that just bagged a 19-year-old. She's hot and she gives me the best sex. What a win. And when you add all that stuff together, a lot of dudes who are in Donny Boy's category will ignore all the red flags. They'll just ignore that. And when bad shit happen to them from dealing with women like these, right? And that eventually they will turn it into a whole women issue, right? Women are the problem issue versus the decisions they made, right? A lot of the guys who are coming into this RedPill space are coming in here because of the decisions they've made. And instead of these bozos helping them understand the decisions they made that got them here, they blame women. Instead of helping you guys understand why you guys are attracted to women who are 304s and understand the mental psyche behind that, they just say, blame women. And when you put a blanket statement and these blanket talking points, guess what? These guys aren't working through their issues. And where do they end up with? This very same type of women they hate. It's like a fucking weird-ass prophecy. And a lot of these dudes don't see it. It's crazy.
needed.
We
And a lot of
that was
those
a Captain
girls,
Save-A-Ho.
and a lot of those girls like really can make a man feel needed.
Yes.
Because they do need you to survive. Like
Yes.
a lot of
Yeah,
them.
they know how to make a man feel needed because they have experience with lots of men. Even the girl in this story jumps from guy to guy to guy to guy to guy, right? Gets marriage proposals from every one of those guys, right? And a couple of them she married, everyone except yo ass, apparently. So she definitely wasn't feeling yo ass. But women like that have experience. And if she's willing to get proposals left and right, listen, why do you think Pearl is jealous? Pearl was like, what's her game like? She's a free-spirited woman, the same kind of woman that attracts a lot of these insecure, reserved type of guys. You understand that, right? Realistically, it's the outgoing dudes that are attracted to good girls, if you really think about it. It's the dudes who are extroverted, who are confident, who have more, experience with women. They're attracted to the good girls. It's the guys who don't have that much experience that get attracted to the bad girls, because the bad girls, they actually, it's not that they're attracted to them. The bad girls know how to work these guys, right? They know how to, she works a lot of these guys for relationships, for marriage proposals. They're good at this. They have experience with men. They know how to make you feel good. Get that tattoo on my back. Let me buy you a new watch. She knows what to make you tick. If you look at a lot of these Manosphere guys and the backstory of the girls they've dated, I'll guarantee you a lot of those women will fit within those stereotypes. Guaranteed. These guys love bad girls because they have legitimate issues they haven't talked through or dealt with yet. And it's usually mommy issues, realistically. It's usually mommy issues.
Would you hear your thinking?
I'm
not saying all guys. I'm just saying that seems to be a dynamic.
Hold on. Before you answer, I have one more story. These were the two relationships that red pilled me the most. Girl I worked with. This was long before the other girl. Girl I worked with, dude, hot Puerto Rican girl. I mean, she was bad as hell. Fast forward through all of that stuff, I never fucked her. But she called me up one day. She called me up. She didn't come to work, and she called me up. I was like, well, what's going on? Why aren't you at work? I got kicked out, or my sister kicked me out. And I was like, oh, no, your sister kicked you out. So what I did is I rented this girl. True story. I rented this girl a 3-bedroom house near downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. The lease is in my name. I got cable in my name. I got her, and electricity was in my name. I found out. So I moved her all in and everything, and I'm paying all this whole stuff. It's unbelievable. I'm driving home one time. I had
to give out girl game. Let me.
She
got a whole house paid for.
By who?
By you, dummy. Yeah, that is girl game. I bet you that same girl he's talking about that he got the apartment for fit that same stereotype, bruh. A free-spirited woman that guys are attracted to. And here's the thing. I'm not saying it's like all guys are attracted to that, but guys who have like the lack of experience, like Donny Boy, like guys who are a little bit more reserved, they like women who are free. It just is what it is, dog. Like they are attracted to that. Why do you think a lot of these quote-unquote good guys, right, who get attracted to a lot of these 304s on Fresh and Fit and whatnot, they lose their mind, right? And when the girl doesn't reciprocate after they've given them money on OnlyFans or anything like that, they're gonna turn around and say, oh, woe is me, I did everything for her and she still fucked me over. She didn't ask you to do any of that. She never asked you to do any of that. You chose to do that because you wanted something from her. And guess what? She knew you wanted something from her, because women like that who have experience with a lot of men, okay, understand that men want certain things, but only confident guys know how to ask for it. Guys like you don't know how to ask for what you want. So what do? You play this roundabout game. Let me take care of your whole apartment, your energy bill, your utilities, everything, right? And she's like, bruh, all right, I'll just take it. I know you want to fuck, but now you're not getting it because you already gave her what you wanted. So it's one of these things that, like, bruh, I'm telling you, if the more you guys understand the psychology of how people are dating nowadays or trying to date, the more you'll have better relationships, or at least relationship prospects, okay? If you're looking for good girls, you need to know what a good girl actually is and what it entails and what it comes with, okay? And if you're looking for, those other types of girls, well, you know where to find them. You guys are already attracted to them to begin with. And that's why Pearl's looking for game right now, because girls like that, they own game.
Dude, I was not clearly I would not do these things.
Do you think it reflects more on girls having good game, or just a stage of life that you are in to allow these things to be a part of your character?
Probably a little bit of both. There's no such. The only girl game has nothing to do with sexual allure. Okay.
What? The girl game has everything to do with sexual allure. Why do you think women spend so much time on their parents when they go out and they put lipstick on to mimic, them being in heat, right? That's the whole part of being allure. A woman's very essence is to be attractive, right? That's just what it is, to attract the other mate, to attract men, whether it's through the physical or through other means, right? That's just what it is. But for you to sit there and say, girl game has nothing to do with a woman's sexual allure, you're stupid. Because that woman, you paid her whole apartment, rent, and all that together, she used the sexual allure to get you to do that. That's girl game. Stupid. Like, Jesus freaking Christ. It's like he's in denial right now. It's like he got robbed and he's trying to say, no. It wasn't really a robbery. No, it didn't really happen. No, she didn't really use a gun. I mean, it was like a little BB gun, but it wasn't a real gun. Like, come on now. That's essentially the argument you're trying to make, bro. You got finessed and she ran game on you. You didn't have to do it. Listen, a real alpha, if she called up and said, hey, my sister kicked me out. Oh, damn, that sucks. Tough. Like, I mean, that's just what it is. She ain't fuck you. She hasn't done anything for you, so why do you care? But you went above and beyond and got her whole apartment. Would her ex do that? No. But you did. Yo, the Raging Up Angel, shout out to you. I bet he got a tramp stamp. Hey, I wouldn't doubt it, bro. Donny Boy's a weirdo, bro.
And all a girl can get, dude, girls can, as soon as a girl opens her phone, she's getting hit in the face with dicks. It doesn't take game to do that, right? It's just.
Okay. It doesn't take game to get laid. Like,
Pearl, you know what things? Pearl actually has a point. Like, Pearl is like, I don't think she understands the argument she's trying to make, or either she's purposely playing dumb, but like, the thing is, like, she's right. Like, these guys are not these guys. Donny Boy is in denial. He's trying to make it seem like, nah, the women weren't smart enough to run game on me. No. I was just thirsty. That's all it is. I was just thirsty. Nah, it couldn't have been her, enticing me or, any of that. I was just thirsty. Nah, women don't have game. Women don't have game, okay? Because it don't take that much to get sex. And the reason why he's harping so hard on that, because the route Pearl is going right now would expose a lot of shit that he's been saying for a long time. All right, because women, they know how to, like, especially free-spirited women, the same women that you guys like to talk bad against, but still somehow end up with, the same free-spirited women understand men better than these Manosphere men want to admit. That's the truth. Because from a young age, girls already know. They already get that interpersonal communication, the inner networks of body language and just feeling the vibes. Girls already mastered that before they got to the age of 16. So by the end of by that 19-year-old getting to a 31-year-old, she already knew the vibes. So it's just crazy that Pearl's actually making a point, right? And this guy saying, no, girls don't have game. Girls can't have game. I refuse to believe that I was duped.
Hold on,
Pearl, when you open up your phone, you get hit in the face with dicks.
You can get messages. Not
but here's the
dicks.
thing: the reason I did these things is because I wanted to fuck her, and she knew I wanted to fuck her.
That's girl gang, you stupid. Bro, are you suffering from moderate to severe brain damage, Donny Boy? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, she knew what you wanted. You didn't get her apartment when her sister threw her out of the goodness of your heart. You didn't do that. You did that because you wanted to have sex with her, all right? And she was smart enough to know that. And when she said, oh, if you're that thirsty to get me an apartment before I even fuck you, well, what else can I get before I even have to do that? And that's how that shit works. You just admitted to it. But the fact that you're desperately trying to just, pretend or just, put up a wall and act like, no, I didn't get finessed at all. Bro, you got finessed, okay? You wanted sex, yes, but she knew that. A lot of girls know that, okay? You weren't slick. And that's the thing, guys. You got to understand, when a lot of these guys, these quote-unquote guys that come into the RedPill, when they come out here and say, oh, I was so good to her, I really was so good to her, and she just left me like that. She left me in the dust. Like, I can't believe it, right? Don't get it twisted. They're not being good for the sake of being good or generous. That's not what it is. They're trying to be good in exchange for sexual favors, right? But they're not man enough to actually either game a girl for it or ask her directly what she wants, right? Put that pressure on her. They can't do that. So these guys go the roundabout way of shaking things up, and hopefully the girl looks at them and realize how much of a stand-up guy they was for helping them with an apartment in our needs, and then just give them some pity pussy. Why not? All right, that's what these guys harp on. But at the end of the day, they're not really doing it because they're good men. They're just deluding themselves to think that, right? Reality, it's a quid pro quo kind of thing. All right, I give you an apartment, and maybe you come in, you give me a little sucky. That's just what it is, right? That's the trade-off. So when these guys talk about, oh, I was hurt, I did all this stuff for her, did all this, and whatever it is, and they came into space, and this woman hurt me because I was such a good guy. You weren't a good guy, bozo. You wanted sex from her, and she knew that, and you were playing this weird game that other guys that she done already been used to were playing. And you were the next one to fall. And it's unfortunate, but now you know. You're not a good guy because you're trying to help her out, but at the end of the day, you want sex from her. And if she doesn't give you what you want, all of a sudden you're mad about it. It's the same thing with these guys who complain that they were in a friend zone for this X amount of time. Oh, I did all this stuff for her, and she just friend zoned me. Like, how can you friend zone me? Well, Exhibit A, you allowed yourself to be friend zoned. And Exhibit B, you were trying to play the whole good guy thing, but you were using that as a trade-off to get sexual favors or a relationship out of it, possibly. Which is most likely where it always ends up at anyways, right? But that's what it is. So a lot of guys, if you really want the truth, when these guys come out and say they're good guys and they've done all this stuff for the women, they've helped her out, they put themselves in the trenches for her, they did it because they love and they wish to have her box. That's it. And Donny Boy just proved it, right? In his false attempt to try to pretend that he didn't get finessed. I wanted sex from her, and she knew I wanted sex from her. That's really what happened. That's girl game. Literally, that's all girls need to run game on men. That's all they need is their sexual allure. If they can go up to a guy and the guy finds her attractive and she can find a way to stave off sexual intercourse until she gets what she wants, she's running game. And guess what? A lot of girls do that.
That was it. Any girl can get sexual validation, but to be able to keep and retain it from a man of value, that's the girl game.
See, I feel like
What? No. It's all because only if she's trying to do it for a high value man. You realize high value men are the niggas that get finessed the most, right? They're the ones who pay for all these escort sites, right? What is that main one that Myron pays for? Y'all know what it is? What is that? Or a lot of people use that platform, Fresh and Fit, and like Fresh uses it. What is that? Seeking arrangement, right? Seeking arrangements. They get a lot of brothers with money. All right. So the biggest people with simps are rich niggas. All right. So which is crazy to me. Like these guys are talking about high value men, but the high value men are the biggest simps. Like they're the ones who pay for it. They just pay, and the ones who get into all these weirdo shit, right? With the women they're with. That's just what it is. It's really the average and broke people that win. Like if you really talk about sex without like having a financial transaction to it, it's usually the average and broke people that win. That's just what it is. Because average people, they live average lives and they talk to people, they interact with people. So they know how to have at least a modicum of conversation, right? Because that's really all it takes to talk to people, right? And on top of that, realistically, if you're broke, you got nothing to lose. You know what I mean? What do you got to lose? You got all the time in the world to sharpen your skills. Except for Donny Boy. I mean, when he was broke, he was getting duped by a fucking heroin addict. Jesus fucking Christ.
That if I'm not interested.
She absolutely did not.
Like I would feel bad accepting that from a guy because then it's like I feel like he's expecting something. And if I don't want to do that, then like why are you accepting it?
I always told her.
I'm sorry, Pearl. I'm sorry for pausing too much. But Pearl's right. And she instinctually knows that. Like most women, and okay, listen. Most people say like, and I've criticized Pearl for being a grifter too. And realistically, at this stage of life, I don't give a shit, right? A lot of these Manosphere guys are grifters, and no matter how much you call them out, these boys are still gonna listen to them. So who cares at this point? But I do agree. Like I would say that Pearl, she probably falls along the side of I wouldn't say a good girl, right? I don't think she's a good girl, but she's not a slutty girl either. Like one of those free spirited types that go around, being loose with everyone. Because I think it's a combination of a couple of different things, right? Whether it's physical, whether it's maybe whether it's self-esteem, right? Because you never know what a woman's going through, right? A lot of women are walking around here confident, but they're really insecure. So you just never know. But the thing is, I would consider Pearl in a category where it's not like she probably doesn't have a whole lot of sexual partners out there. She's not really giving the booty up. So for her to even, and one of the things that verifies that is her even making that statement. Like I would feel kind of weird if a guy just does everything for me, because there's no free lunch out here. So he's gonna want something, right? You can't ride in this car for free, right? You're gonna want something, right? No free rides, no free lunch. So that's a basic concept that most women, if they have fathers, which is clear that Pearl probably had, they know. They know, hey, if a guy is overly generous to you, chances are there's something else he wants. It's not just that. The only person who's going to be super generous to you and not going to want anything in return is your father. That's it. That is it. There's no one else, and possibly uncles and things like that. But like realistically, there's no one else that's going to be generous to you as a woman than your father. Any other men you meet outside of those group of people, they're going to want something in return. And Pearl knows that. Okay? So the fact that she's trying to coach Donny Boy on this and he's not getting this, it's just insane to me.
I always told her, no pressure, no pressure. But while she was in the house, and I never spent the night, I found out she was her ex-con baby daddy. It was a plan from the start. Her sister told me about this plan. She didn't have the credit or the money to get a place of her own. Her baby daddy, I think his name was Ray, was getting out of prison in a week. And she needed a sucker to finance a place for her and her baby daddy to live. So
and that sucker was you. And you see how he's trying to flip it on her? Like it was a plan from the beginning. They conspired against me. Let's run through this. I got the time to die. Let's run through this whole story again.
These things is because I wanted to fuck her, and she knew I wanted to fuck her.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
Any girl can get sexual validation, but to be able to keep and retain it from a man of value, that's the girl game.
See, I feel like I would feel bad accepting that if I'm not interested.
She absolutely did not.
Like I would feel bad accepting that from a guy, because then it's like I feel like he's expecting something, and if I don't want to do that, then like why are you accepting
I always
it?
told her, no pressure, no pressure. But while she was in the house, and I never spent the night, I found out she was her ex-con baby daddy.
What is with you and dating women that have ex-convicts for previous partners? Like, what the fuck is this, bro? Like, it seems like all of your exes, they have ex-cons for exes. Like, what is going on? Like, yo, your choices in women is not good, bro. It's just, clearly you don't know what you're doing. Clearly you have zero idea what you're doing. And on top of that, you didn't smash. Oh, what a fucking surprise, bro. Because she knew, she took you for the mark that you were. She didn't ask you to give her an apartment. You did that because you wanted to fuck. And she knew that. The real nigga she wanted to fuck is in jail. He couldn't give her an apartment. He didn't got the money. And she'll still fuck him in your place. The place you provided for her. Right? So what is it worth to be a high value man with all this money, all this status, and at the end of the day, the girl that is supposed to be attracted to that is just going to sleep with a man who's lesser? What is the point? Or maybe that should just tell you that I don't really even think it matters, right? Because with women, their preferences and who they want to sleep with isn't anything that you guys can standardize and put in a little book or a fucking lesson plan to teach your little boys out there. That's not a thing. We're human beings. We're variables, all right? The way we think is random. All right, we each have our own little universes out there, and no one knows what's going on in each other's head. So while you sitting there trying to figure out why she's fucking a broke dude and putting together all these theories and hypotheses on why this is happening, I just want you to understand that at the end of the day, you're still gonna get it wrong because you're not God. You can't look into people's heads, and you can't control people either. I just find it so interesting.
It was a plan from the start. Her sister told me about this plan. She didn't have the credit or the money to get a place of her own. Her baby daddy, I think his name was Ray, was getting out of prison in a week. And she needed a sucker to finance a place for her and her baby daddy.
And who?
So as soon as I found out about the plan, of course, I cut off all contact. But even still, I held out hope that she might actually come around.
You are the sucker through and through, Brody. Come on. Yo, come on, man. You were the sucker. That's what that meant, bro. Even after you cut it off, you were still hoping she came back. Bruh. And you see how he's trying to flip it on her, right? You see how he's trying to flip the decisions he made on her, right? Oh, it was a plan from the beginning. They planned it. They planned to hurt me. Who put themselves in that position? You did. You put yourself in a position to be hurt. So, like, why go 100% in on a woman you don't even know, you haven't even slept with? She hasn't even proven to you why she's worthy. And you pay for an apartment and everything. And then you're trying to put it like, oh, this is what a woman would do to you if you guys aren't careful. No, you put yourself in that scenario to be taken advantage of. It wasn't a women's plot to come at you and take you down, because that's how you're trying to make it seem, right? Plot your little hero story. You're part of your little hero's journey, right? Oh, I was taken down by these army of women. No. You put yourself in that. It's like walking around with a sign that says kick me and get mad because you got kicked. That's what happened. You asked for it. And I want y'all to take an example from what he's doing right now to what a lot of guys who gravitate to messages like this and what they do. It's the same sob story. They put themselves in scenarios that realistically they were hopelessly prepared for. All right. And on top of that, when it obviously blows up in their faces, they don't have the mental development to self-reflect and look at the mistakes they've made to get to that point. Instead, they blame the other party for the sins that they did. It's crazy to me. They don't think that. So when you look at the Manosphere and you see this whole, oh, we got to blame feminism and blame this and blame that, but you don't see anything else coming out of it, it's because these guys don't want to look in the mirror. And that's what our channel and everybody else has been preaching for this long. Hey, wake up. How about you look in the mirror? Because you guys are the exact opposite of the feminist movement. Just saying.
And people look at the way I am now and they're like, dude, I refuse to believe that was you. That was absolutely me. It was absolutely me.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I believe it.
I think that to answer your question, because I think it was specific to guys want to fix. I think that there was a trope within media that guys should be the fixers. They should sacrifice, their money, their time to save a woman, a damsel in distress. We talk about the Disney and the impact of that onto the minds of men today. But I think through the continent of space, it's breeding a new man.
Yeah. Within
that is to say, no, I don't see your masculine behavior. I'm not talking about your girl. Your girl's on some other shit. But I don't see that masculine behavior as something to over encumber.
Yeah.
I don't need to over encumber that. No, I will go select the better option, right? But at the same time, I don't know, have you sat down and thought through, that time in your life? And I understand it was one of the worst times in your life, you're saying.
Yeah,
what were the things that led you to go there? Because I think that would help men in understanding, is it the way that you were raised? It was
scarcity, man. Scarcity.
Oh! Well, thank you for admitting it, Donnie. Oh, you were scarcity minded. So all them boxes you were talking about you were getting when you were younger, it wasn't true. It wasn't true. You were running around here with blue balls, dog, and you just jumped at the first chick that gave you a smile. That's what it was. That's what all this was. You had no options. Here you are, years later on the internet, pretending to be somebody that you weren't. I find that just fascinating. This is great. I'm glad that y'all pointed out that there was way more to that video than this, because I would have honestly missed all of this.
I'd never, I wasn't, dude, honestly, the girl's name,
She Bitch. Let's go, yeah.
The girl's name,
you're just doxing everybody. And you're talking about Ben, Stephanie, all these people. You're just doxing everybody.
The girl's name
Delilah.
was Stephanie. I had never, ever had sex with a woman that attractive. Not only was she attractive, she took care of me. She used to bring me coffee before class. She used to buy me, I remember one time
There's a little girl game we could learn,
Okay.
Pearl's on the money, bro. It's girl game. You think a girl is just gonna, oh, let me give you coffee? No, all of that is to angle towards either a relationship or some kind of favor. Come on, man. What is wrong with you? What's good, Alex? Welcome to the stream. We just gotta run through this video real quick because this is a little bit more, but like we could comment back and forth. But welcome to the show, bro, man. Like, hey, y'all, if y'all don't already know who this is Alex from PWFs. Okay, so if those guys who aren't subscribe, go ahead and check him out. They do a lot of stuff in terms of actually understanding relationship, right, and texting, and getting women to like you. All right, not like this shit that a lot of these red pillars do. Okay, his shit is something that actually works. Like I can see that like actually working. Right, I would recommend people doing that versus a John Anthony lawsuit type situation. But you said it was an echo. Oh, that's probably because this is up right now. But let's play the video real quick.
Okay. So I texted her. I was like,
I knew this girl was doing something to have this many men chasing her. Come on. I know.
Pearl, no, we can no, hold on, real quick. We can laugh and chuckle, but that's not girl game. Like she got a man killed, and she'll probably get somebody else killed, right?
Well, but you're saying it's scarcity because her doing.
I stopped. I had to pause it. Let me know if y'all still hear an echo. But like, wait a minute. He's so adamant to believe that no, this has nothing to do with any kind of girl game. She did not finesse me whatsoever. No, I was not finesse. Okay, no, that was a girl game, bruh. It was so bad. She got the father of her daughter shot, and then got the guy who shot him to marry her.
Wait, is that the story about her? Is Donovan telling that story about how he dated some chick that he had a class with, and then she cheated on him, and she
that was the album Preach video. But like, people were telling me that I missed the full thing. They were saying, "Yo, Duke, like he said a lot worse like shit than what Alvin Preach put on his video." Because like, I'm not gonna go in and watch the whole thing, but then I'll go in on Pearl. I think I got this off of whose channel is this? I think this is Pearl's channel, and I went on Pearl channel. And I'm watching the whole thing. I'm just like, yo. Somebody got shot out of this whole entanglement? Like, whoa, damn. And he's over here saying that, oh, yeah, girls don't have game. Like, what do you think about that, bro? Let me ask you this.
I mean, I generally don't really believe anything that comes out of Donovan's mouth. I think he's been caught in multiple lies, so I take everything with a grain of salt. For all we know, like something completely different happened. Like some fucking, I don't know, like he was jerking off in the closet and he watched some like criminals have sex. I don't fucking know, but yeah, I don't know, man.
But in terms of the girl game, like, because I think that girls know how to finesse dudes, and I think that Donovan is trying to deny that right now. That he's denying that he got finessed, like by saying there's no such thing as girl game.
Yeah, there's definitely such thing as girl game. It's just different than like guy game, right? Because girls can get sex, they don't need game for that. So girl game involves getting like resources and getting things that like you can't easily get. So it exists. It's just different than guy game.
Yeah, like it's crazy, and the fact that like it's like, bro, what possessed you to come out here? Because here's my thing: I think that he thought by sharing this story about how low in the mud he was, he would get a lot of guys to empathize with him. And normally, I think that would work if he was younger going through this. The part that makes this so ridiculous is that he was a 31-year-old. He was a 31-year-old man, dog. And he's having this much problems with the 19-year-old. Think about this guy. He went to paralegal school to be a high-value man, apparently, right? And it took one 19-year-old single mom to destroy his entire life in a year.
I also don't know why he would be sharing this story on like a big podcast. Like, if that happened to me, I'd be like super embarrassed, and I would want to keep that to myself. Like, I don't know how he thinks this story anyway is like a good thing or something that like makes him look good. It just makes him look like a complete clown. So I don't know what's
crazy.
wrong with his judgment that he thinks this is a story that he wants to share like for the whole world.
Part of me thinks it's because this is how far the delusion in the Manosphere has gone, where like the echo chamber has gotten so crazy that these guys can literally, it's like when Trump came out and said, I can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and everyone went crazy, right? And I'll get away with it. It's the same thing with these red pill guys, right? They built these solid echo chambers that they feel as though in their community or in their little pods, they can say whatever it is and they get applause from their guys, right? They even have managers to filter comments through, right? Or delete them most of the time. So they don't see a lot of the like real world like criticisms aside from when they look at your channel, my channel, or any other channel that's criticizing them, right? That's the only way to get like an outside perspective. Even then, they view it as an attack on their ego. But realistically, I think it's because they're not even getting that feedback actively from their echo chambers. They believe that what they're saying is 100%. So they'll take that bullshit and go to other platforms platforms and then say that same thing, thinking they're gonna have the exact same reaction. And it's like, yeah, bruh, no, we're in the real world. You sound stupid. Like, you sound fucking stupid, bruh. It's the same thing with Myron, when he was talking about that Instagram thing, because that's what it reminds me of. Like, in the RedPill space, when he says, a woman who has an Instagram, get rid of her, right? Or if she doesn't want to delete it, get rid of her, right? Everyone in the RedPill, they'll applaud that message. They'll say, oh, yes, yes, yeah, I agree. She's a 304. But the moment Myron took that out of the platform and went to other places with that shit, everyone was like, yo, what the fuck? So what about the guy? What if he has an Instagram? Well, what about this? Like, say all these real world things that would happen if you would make a stupid ass childish decision like that. Those questions popped up outside of the platform. So I think that's what the Manosphere is going through right now, right? They're going through a real world awakening that their ideas, it just doesn't mesh well when it pops up with reality. I don't know. That was my about to say.
I agree. There's a lot of echo chambers. Are you familiar with what happened with Donovan and Preach's wife?
Yeah, when he called her out, yeah.
But except that it wasn't even Preach's wife.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was crazy. But that's what a lot of the spaces does, right? And I find it interesting because here's the thing. You know that meme with dude's about to get hanged and he looks over and says it's the first time. You know that meme I'm talking about? It's with from that one actor. I forgot what his name is. But it reminds me of that meme, right? And it's like, yo, you're having these guys go through all that bullshit, like Alba and Preach getting their wife docs, and we in the Manosphere, we're looking at that. To us, it's not that surprising because this is what they're doing. This is their natural element. You criticize one guy, they're coming at you and they're going dirty. They're gonna dox you. They'll go after your life. James Franco, thank you, Doc. Thank you. It's that James Franco meme, right? So that's what it reminds me of, right? So we're seeing a lot of these guys, Alba and Preach, they're getting their wives attacked. They're seeing all this horrible shit come out of the Manosphere, and they're like, yo, what the fuck? And we're us who've been in here criticizing the guys, because I'm sure you've been doxxed. I've been doxxed for sure. MLD and all these Lord Marquardt, all these guys have doxxed me, right? And they'll go after your wives, they'll go after your girlfriend. I don't think there's anyone who's had their girls gone after the most in this space than you. All right, so when
he's like the whipping boy, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like that's what these guys do. So that's why I'm not surprised that like Alba and Preach were like shocked about it. I'm like, no. This is what they do. This is part of their whole shebang, okay? If you piss them off any type of way, if you have a wife and she's not remotely attractive to their standards, they're coming after her. And they'll dox her. And they'll have no problem doing it.
Yeah, I just found it interesting that fucking Donovan didn't even bother to do a tiny amount of research. So the woman that he called out for being Preach's wife wasn't actually Preach's wife. So it's like a really embarrassing mistake. It was just like his friend or something like that. And the second thing is Donovan is literally the last person that should talk about like having a wife that's not that attractive. I mean, like, I don't know, there's just saying like people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. So it's like fucking Donovan is attacking some woman that's not even Preacher's wife, saying like, oh my god, she's so ugly. It's like, Donovan, dude, my man, like, are you serious right now?
Yeah, it's freaking crazy. This is more. There's more to this bullshit.
It's a little quiet.
Oh shit! Hold up. I know what it is. Hold up.
Money, their time, to save a woman, a damsel in distress. You know, we talk about the Disney and the impact of that onto the minds of men today. But I think, like, you know, through the continent of space, it's breeding a new man. Yeah. Within that is to say, no, I don't see your masculine behavior. I'm not talking about your girl. Your girl's on some other shit. But I don't see that masculine behavior as something to over encumber. Yeah. I don't need to over encumber that. No, I will go select the better option, right? But like at the same time, I don't know, like, have you sat down and thought through, you know, that time in your life? And I understand it was one of the worst times in your life, you're saying. Yeah, like, what were the things that led you to go there? Because I think that would help men in understanding, like, is it the way that you were raised? It was
scarcity, man. Scarcity.
I never
I wasn't like, dude, honestly, the girl's name
She Bitch. Let's go. Yeah.
The girl's name, like the girl's name
Delilah.
was Stephanie.
Oh.
I was
he just ends up doxing her.
Had with a woman that attractive. Not only was she attractive, she took care of me. She used to bring me coffee before class. She used to buy me I remember one time I
There's a
texted.
little girl game we could learn,
Okay. So I texted her.
I
I was
knew
like,
this. I knew this girl was doing something to have this many men chasing her. Come on, come on. I know.
Pearl, no, we can laugh. No, hold on, real quick. We can laugh and chuckle, but that's not girl game. Like she got,
She low-key laughing at him. He's mad.
she got a man killed, and she'll probably get somebody else killed, right?
Well, but you're saying it's scarcity because her doing those little things and then also
I
having
never
good
experienced
visit.
that.
You had never experienced it,
I
and
was
you
married.
didn't want to let go of it.
No, I was married to a woman who got fat and didn't have sex with me for a year and a half, right? So a year after the divorce was finalized, all of a sudden there's this beautiful girl taking interest in me, right? She would come to my place and cook for me. It was something I was married, and my wife didn't cook for me.
Yeah.
And so these were things I had never experienced, and so. What factored into that was the scarcity. I had never had an attractive woman treat me like that.
Your wife didn't even cook for you?
Nope.
Yo, this
Every once in a while,
nigga.
but she didn't do it on the regular.
I just imagine Donny Boy's life as just one big sad story, bro. Like your whole year, bro, she didn't cook for you. Yo, and you come out here talking about, hey, she don't cook and she don't clean. All right, she's not a high value woman. Hey, bro, let's ask that to Devin. Is Devin doing any of that, Donnie? Is Devin doing any of that right now? Because there are photos of her not vacuuming your house and not cooking either. So I mean, you hired her a personal trainer, bro. Like that's crazy to me, bro. That is a pampered woman, not a high value woman.
So sad.
And by the way, my ex-wife also committed paternity fraud. You can't make this stuff up.
Oh, wow.
Nope. No way. But interestingly enough, led me to that actually finally
Donovan's
over the edge.
horrible
Was
character.
It was a girl I hooked up.
Say what?
Donovan's the worst character ever.
Yo, you can make a movie out of this. Yo, you can make a movie. Yo, hey, it's just like the word. It's like the opposite, or not even the opposite. Like it's like a 40-year-old virgin, but make him 31, and then he black. Like that's just what you have. Donny Boy, bro. The Chronicles of Donny. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God.
Up with when I was in Vegas, and we worked at the same call center. 3 weeks after we hooked up for the first time, I decided I want to be with her. So I drove to her house. I said, "All right, look, Martha, it was fun, but it's over." And she didn't seem the least bit surprised. And I remember thinking to myself, "Okay, that's great. She's somebody else's problem now, but why did she get over me so quickly when a week and a half before she told me she loved me?" I went home and I Googled, "Why do girls get over breakups so easily?" I was on my computer for almost 24 hours straight. And that was when I was like, "Oh wow." And that was the day Donovan Sharp was created.
Really? That was the moment Donny Boy was created? It wasn't the 19-year-old that fucked up your life for a year? This situation right here? Oh my God, just looking on the internet RedPilled you. It wasn't the bullshit you went through, bro. Oh God. Oh Lord. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine if you never did that. You may still be on that damn path.
I was looking.
He's
I
so
was looking for answers. I think a few years before, I had bought a book called "How to Be an Alpha Male" by a guy by his name was John Anthony, and it
Is he talking about John Anthony lawsuit? That book?
I don't think John has ever written a book, so I don't know what the fuck. He's just getting names wrong right now.
Because he said his name was John Anthony. I'm like, who the hell?
I know.
Who else is named John Anthony, dog?
I don't think John has ever written a book though. So
So you mean to tell? Listen, if this is true, you mean to tell me John Anthony was the book you read to get into this motherfucker, bro? I don't believe it. Please, Donny Boy, let me know that you have a solid explanation for this. Because if you're telling me that John Anthony lifestyle was the book you read to get you into the space, I got some questions. So I got some serious questions, dog. Yo, what the fuck, bro? This don't make any sense.
resonated with me so much, but that was right before I met Stephanie. So I used some of the techniques to make myself attractive to Stephanie. I just didn't know what to do afterwards or what to look for. And she taught me a very valuable and expensive lesson. I remember when I told my mother, she was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "What?" She's like, "Alex, you could have been Ben." And I thought to myself, you know what? That probably could have been.
Yeah.
That probably could have been. So that's my so when people ask, well, how does he know this stuff and why does he? That's why I have my own anecdotal experiences. And the thing is that even though those stories are crazy, the reason this community exists is because so many men have similar stories, right? We didn't just wake up one day and decide, you know what? Let's make up a bunch of crazy, gnarly stories about women and form this community and call it. No, we all found each other because we said, wait a minute, that guy went through the same thing as I did, or my buddy did. One thing leads to another, people get together, and now we have the Red Pill community.
I didn't realize how common the faithless marriage thing was. So do you think when your wife wasn't sleeping with you, she was sleeping with someone else?
She could have been.
She could, because it's, to me, I'm like, don't the girls want to have, like, why do they just stop sleeping with their husbands?
Because
I don't get it.
because their husbands are unattractive. That's what it is.
Yo! He just called himself unattractive. He doesn't even realize it, bro. It's like he's going back and forth. Like he's like switching between third person when Pearl asked the question, like almost to like distance himself from it. But he's talking about himself. Like you're the ugly guy. You're the unattractive one.
Yeah, I've never seen this clip, so this is interesting.
This is so bad. This is so bad. Oh my God, dude. I'm sorry. I can't, bro. Like, I don't think he realized he just called himself ugly and unattractive, and that's why his wife wouldn't sleep with him. Ah, my chest hurt. Ah, hold up. I need a moment.
I mean, does this really surprise you? I mean, Donovan is a fucking dumbass.
No.
He's like far from the stupidest thing he's ever said.
Oh my God, but it's just the way he said it. Like he. Fuck. I'm sorry, yo. I'm sorry. I'm having a moment right now. Let me play the video. I'm so sorry.
The reason I've got the Hail Mary tattoo because I used to be Catholic. I went all in. So during RCIA, I don't even know what it stands for anymore. It's like a series of classes you go to become Catholic and all that good stuff, and you're supposed to abstain from sex. And that's what she used and that lasted for a year and a half. So
Yo.
Yep, it was a bad reason, but that's how it was, man.
Wow.
Yep. So now, I mean,
like that's what I didn't understand when I first went into RedPill. I didn't understand why men were so opposed to marriage. And
That's one of the reasons.
It was so partially, but it was so foreign to me because I was like, my parents were married. Everyone most people I know were married. Like there was some like where I grew up, it was Catholic school, and there was some like divorced families.
But it was like not spoken of, frowned.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I didn't really know the story. Like when you get older, you hear more of the stuff that happened behind the scenes. But when you're young, they don't tell you.
No, of course not.
You know, and so, but then when I started to realize like the men, they don't even get their kids if there's a divorce, like 90% of the time. Then I started to learn like how the Duluth model was implemented, and like women can charge men of domestic violence without giving men like the right to a fair trial to face their accuser, like all that stuff in civil court. And then I started learning about how once the guys get married, the girls will get fat and then stop sleeping with them. And then how men value youth and purity, but the average age of first marriage in the UK is 31, so they don't get either. And
you start doing the math.
Yeah, and
right?
I just started like thinking about it and like putting myself in the guy's shoes. And I'm like, if I was a guy and I was gonna risk everything, like would I want to do it for the average?
Hold up. I find this so interesting that you know what, Pearl's making this coming to Jesus moment, right, when she researched her stuff in the Red Pill. But here's the thing, guys. All right, listen. If you got to ask yourself, because Pearl is making a point, but here's the thing. If you gotta wonder why there isn't, or why there's this unfairness towards men, and why like the situation is the way it is with child custody laws and whatever she's talking about, the Duluth model and all that stuff like that. All right, cool. That's a valid point and a valid realization of why in the space, right? But then you look at the Red Pill space, the same space Donny Boy says it's meant to help out, right? Where are lobbyists to combat this? Where are our civil workers to help us out with 50-50 placement for kids, right? Where's the funds for that? The millions of dollars these guys have raked in cash, super chats and everything, claiming they want to help you guys, right? With all these problems going out here with men, and none of them has even decided to say, hey, you know what? We're going to put your super chats together, and we're going to go straight to Washington, and we're going to fight for the rights of men. I have never heard that. The people that came close were the MGTOW guys until CNN destroyed them. I think it was CNN or MSNBC. One of those guys, they took him out because they had one guy go up on there and he just made a total ass of himself, and that was it, right? But where's all that? I don't hear any of it. All I hear is this high value concept, and then they're just online just selling shit. But at the end of the day, the money they're making isn't going to solve these issues that Pearls just brought up. It goes into their wallets, because at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's never been about you. It's been about them and how much they can make, which is crazy to me. Oh, shit, my bad.
You know who called Donovan out on that? It was Guste Janis, that the blonde chick. When they were doing a debate, this was like a year or two ago, she was like, Donovan, you constantly talk about, men's rights, stuff like that. I went to your channel. I haven't seen a single video talking about men's rights. It's all about how to train your wife, how to be a high-value man. Can you show me what specifically one video where you've talked about men's rights? He's like, oh, well, you got to do your own research. She's like, I have. Can't find it. Show me one video. He's like, we don't have time for that. He started detracting. So she called him out on that. Really, really good.
Yeah, and she was that one content creator that was on Fresh and Fit, and she didn't really have much of a following, but she did a video, and he took a video down. I think he took her video, or copyright struck her or something like that.
Something along the lines of that, yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, and he's the same guy that claims, oh, I don't pay attention to all these small content creators. Yet there's nobody over here would manage to get you mad enough to get you to shut her video down. Like, that's crazy to me, bro. You a big kappa.
No.
And who's overweight, or if she's not overweight statistically, she will be.
Hold up, I gotta add this point into it too, right? Because you hear in the Manosphere, man, a lot of these guys they want to be able to get with virgins and get with all these girls, right? But yet in the same breath, these are the same guys that talk about, well, I don't want to get married, I don't want to wife up a girl, all right? I don't want to wife up this type of girl, that type of girl. So it's like, okay, we got all these different messages being pushed out here, right? On the one side, these guys are saying, well, you guys have to be pure and good and not have too many bodies on your record, right? And on the other hand, they're saying, yeah, we want to have sex. You got to show us that you're worthy. And on top of that, we don't want to get married right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of catch-22s and fucking hypocrisies in the RedPill community. They're like fucking jerk off to Islam. It's like, oh my God, Islam. But they don't even really understand what Islam is.
No.
They think that in Islam, it's encouraged to have 4 wives. In reality, that's it's not at all. I did a little research about this. That's not something that's common or encouraged. They say that if you have 4 wives, you can't really love them, blah, blah, blah. It was just the prophet. He had 4 wives, but they're supposed to be orphans. There's a whole bunch of caveats, but they don't really understand what it is. And they're like, yeah, this is why become Islam, because you could have 4 wives.
It's so stupid, and it just shows you how just juvenile a lot of their thinking is, and it just verifies when a lot of people say, hey, a lot of these young guys who are coming in, they're not only converting to Islam, but they're absorbing a lot of these red pill talking points. It's all sex minded. It's all coming from sex. Either they're being repressed sexually, they're blue balls and whatnot, or they don't have as much sexual experience out there, or they got done in wrong by a woman. Either way, some of this shit centers around sex. Them going into Islam, and apparently the Muslim community, they're wholly accepting of this. They're like, hey, come on in, Tate, we love you, right? But I mean, anything to promote Islam, that's what it is. But and the thing is, it's nothing against Islam. I just think that a lot of young men joining Islam just for wifing up as many girls as possible who could be possibly virgins, I think is weird. I just think it's odd. All right, and the thing is, in most Islamic countries, all right, usually those virgins they're talking about are 13-year-olds.
That's true.
So just let that sink in, right? These guys are pushing to basically eventually get with kids. That mean that where else are you gonna get? Where else? Because a lot of this shit isn't specified. Did you say virgin? You think kids are stupid? Kids are having sex way earlier. That's just what it is. So if you're trying to find that virgin, especially in these communities like Islam, whatever it is, they're usually younger. And if you look at how these guys get married, they're younger girls they get married to, and they got no shame about it because it's their religion. Y'all gotta wake up, bro. This is nonsense.
There's actually another funny catch string too. So they say that any girl who doesn't like fuck you on the first night is wasting your time and playing games. But at the same time, they say I never want to date with a girl who's promiscuous. Right? Girls need to be pure. So if a girl is pure, she's wasting her time. But if a girl puts out, then she's promiscuous and she's for the streets.
Yeah, but that's why we call it like this is why we say that these guys are the opposite of feminism, right? Because these guys say, oh, the feminists want their cake and they want to eat it too, right? That's exactly what we're doing. Like we're doing the exact same thing. We want our cake, right? We want the pure girls, virgins, but then we also want these very same pure virgins to give us sex when we demand this, fuck us on the first night, all right, and really, really show us how to get down, all right? And it's like, hey, you're not gonna get that kind of sex from an inexperienced virgin. That's just not gonna happen. She's not gonna fuck you like a porn star. Second of all right, listen, if you're already claiming for her to have sex with you on a first date before anything else, then she's not a virgin anymore. And then you're not even are you gonna find her more attractive? Like what's gonna go there? So it's just this weird kind of rule that I don't think that the guys who are putting this stuff out there are really thinking about when they're putting this shit, when they're saying this stuff, right? And I don't think like that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these guys, they tend to avoid having conversations with like real people who would call them out on these catch-22s, because at the end of the day, it's ridiculous. It's like how do you reconcile this big gap that we have right now between what men want and what men actually need? You can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. Have you been following the whole thing with Rolo recently with Valuetainment and App and Preach? And me?
What's going on? What's going on with Valuetainment?
Where do I even begin? I covered it in my stream today, but Rolo burned a bridge with Valuetainment because basically John Anthony was on Valuetainment and Rolo was like spazzing down, super chatting like, a lot of shit. And like, don't get me wrong, I really want them to read that super chat, but they didn't read the super chat. That's their prerogative. That's their. So he started going on massive like tangents and calling them out live stream, saying these guys are fucking scammers. I hate these guys. Like all this, just talking massive shit about Valuetainment. So he just like burned that bridge completely.
What a dumbass. And you see, I told you, the Manosphere leaders are girls. They're high school girls, okay? Think about it. Rolo could have handled that like a man. Instead, Donny boy, I'm not surprised. This is how they burn relationships with people, bro. Like, he did that with the Red Man group, with Donny boy, and Rolo Tomasi, too, as well, right? And all these other guys, too, as well. Even the black, the black Manosphere, the Negro Manosphere with O'Shea Duke Jackson, right? Donny boy burnt bridges with them. And I'm not surprised Rolo Tomasi's on the same bullshit, right? Like, why would you know what? These guys are just self-sabotaging. It's not even funny, bro. Like, it's just not. I gotta cover this. Is there a video on it? Like an actual video of somebody talking about it? Is it Rolo Tomasi?
Yeah. There's a bunch.
Oh, I gotta cover this.
I gotta cover go on YouTube and type in like Rolo Tomasi Valuetainment or something. Or I can send you the link if you want.
I'm gonna do it on another stream because I want to keep this under 2 hours. But I don't know if there's anything else you want to add in or chime in or anything like that before we close out.
Nah, man. I mean, this whole thing is quite entertaining. I feel like this, the Manosphere should be called the Dramasphere because there's more drama here. Just a bunch of like, high school girls. But as one update, Rolo did agree to debate me.
Oh shit! When is that happening?
There's a catch. He's being pretty bad faith. It has to be in his studio. He said he won't go on my podcast. He said, let's do a neutral location. I agreed. I said, yeah, let's do a neutral location. I'm okay with any neutral platform. And then he said, no, let's do it in my studio. So
like he actually responded to you. Like he actually said you by name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I want to see this. Oh shit, that'd be crazy. Bruh, guys, I want y'all to know something. Alex debated Donny Boy, okay? And it was so bad, he got Donny Boy to admit that a lot of his shit that he got about women and female nature was watching Fresh and Fit, listening to Kevin Samuels. By the way, he wasn't friends with Kevin Samuels anymore, and reading Reddit posts. That's what Alex got him to basically expose where Donny Boy got his talking points from. So it was so, matter of fact, that debate got so bad, Myron had to pick up the phone and say, hey, Donny, don't ever debate Alex again.
And Donovan was dumb enough to admit that live on air.
He said it live on air.
Myron called me the other day. He said I shouldn't talk to Alex anymore. I'm like, Alex seems okay, but Myron said it's good.
I was laughing. I'm like, hey, dude, that's why it's super relevant with you. If you're gonna debate Rolo, hey, bro, I'd pay to see that shit. That'd be a big, because like realistically, first of all, I'm confident in your debate skills. Like you definitely know how to like get people to see like the obvious. Like obvious about their fucking argument, right? Just like it's crazy, like it's just ridiculous. These guys don't see it, and they're Manosphere leaders. But yeah, I think with Rolo, it's probably gonna be the same thing because he has just as much, even probably worse hypocrisies and contradictions in his talking points than Donny Boy does. Because I think Donny Boy gets a lot of his shit from Rolo, but I really think that watching that debate will probably be like crazy if Rolo doesn't back down. If Rolo doesn't back down. But, you know, Rolo, you might be the intellectual RedPill godfather that we know, and you might mop the floor with Alex. I don't know. I mean, look at him, bro. He's on a stream. He ain't got a shirt on. You could definitely beat him in the debate. So please, I definitely want to see this, Rolo Tomasi, so don't bitch out, okay? Alex, tell him. You're not going to. Don't tell him you're gonna win. All right, he might not show up.
No, I mean, I'm down to do any neutral platform. I will fly. I even offered to fly Rolo out because he seems to be really big on being flown out. I don't know if you called that thing. He was bitching that like Valuetainment like only flew him out once and only gave him $1,000. He won $2,000. I think it's kind of cringe.
Well, never mind. I think he'll just make up any excuse to get out of the debate. Never mind. Yeah,
but,
bro.
Alex
will mop
fly him out anywhere. I'll fly him out anywhere. The only thing I won't do is go into his studio because it's not really fair. But
wait, why would you go into his studio? Just do it.
His studio?
Yeah.
That puts me at a massive disadvantage. He can cut the mic. He can do a whole bunch of shit.
I mean, if he cuts the mic, people would know.
Yeah, but there's a whole bunch.
I'll do a video covering it. Like there's a whole bunch of.
I just think that neutral platform is fair. Like I don't see the point of like why he said he won't go in my studio. What I will even happily do is do what I did with Donny. One in his studio, one in my studio. If he wants to do that, I'll agree to that. But I'm not going to agree to just his studio. That's like the pinnacle of unfairness. I'll do a 1-for-1. I'll do any neutral platform. I'll fly him out. I'll do a Discord. I'll do anything besides.
Really? Because here's one. And listen, it's your decision, and I feel you not because I desperately want to see you and Rolo debate because I think that'd be fucking fire. But here's the thing: I just think that if he's laying out the contention, right, I would say accept it because then it'd put the ball in his court because he can't really back down. And realistically, here's the thing. I think you're versatile enough in your debate skills and even just your foresight to be able to call out little petty bullshit to be able to maneuver around those little bullshit that he would try to levy if he was doing it on his platform. So not only are you putting the pressure on him because he said it himself and it's like, bruh, no sweat. I'll meet you right here, right now. Let's go. And then if there's some funny business, you definitely have the foresight to call it out. Even while you're debating the person, you can do that. I've seen you do that with Donny Boy. I've seen you do that with all sorts of people on your channel. So that's what I'm saying. Listen, I think you can definitely handle going on his platform and giving him that work. Even all the other guys, because I've seen you handle multiple. What is that? That MGTOW dictionary and that other guy, right? What's the other guy's name? Yeah, you took both of them on, and they kept playing some funny games and getting people on to their stream to go ahead and make it an unfair fight, right?
Yeah, so but I learned from that experience though. Like, yeah, I learned from that experience. Like, think about what happened when I called into Fresh and Fit, right? When you're watching the recording from my end, you get to see what happens. When you're watching it from their end, from Fresh and I'm lucky because I was able to, like co-record, co-stream. But when you're watching it from their end, you literally can't hear me at all. They would constantly cut my mic and constantly mute me, right? So I never got to finish my sentence. You could barely hear me, and they had my audio really low. So like, I don't trust these guys not to play these dirty fucking tricks. So anyone who was watching it on Fresh and Fit's end just thought that like I literally like just basically got tongue-tied, had nothing to say because it was constant. You couldn't hear me at all. So that's why I like the idea of co-streaming it because, they can do whatever the fuck they want on their end, but on my end, they'll still get to see the truth, right? So I like the idea of co-streaming. I like the idea of a neutral platform. I like the idea of like a Discord call. Like I think one of that. But yeah, I've learned from my mistakes. Like back in the day, I used to be more willing to do stuff like that. But when people play like dirty tricks and shit like that, like it just the final result looks totally different than the reality.
I mean, I feel you on that. I can see that point. I just think like because if you decide to put those barriers in place, I could see because Rolo's a smarmy guy, so he's gonna look at that and say, oh, you see, he's putting up all these things because he wants to run, he wants to do all this, and then he could just easily back out, right? Because I just would say, give him no excuses, no reason to think otherwise. That'd be my plan. But like realistically, I mean, he'll probably just say Anthony Johnson put you up to it, like he says everyone else.
Well, he's already made that claim. But yeah, like again,
no. Yeah,
no,
you capping.
No, you said that about me. He said that.
Oh, Rolo, you bruh. How many people? How many people was working for Anthony Johnson?
I thought that was common knowledge. I thought you knew that.
No, bro. I'll be following that dude. He is such a boring character to listen to. It's not even funny. I can't stand that dude longer than 5 minutes. Like, unless he says some real crazy shit like he did in that video, I can't stand to listen. Every time he's just talking, I feel like I want to either claw my eyes out or drag my balls through 2 miles of broken glass, rather than hearing that bullshit. But if it's entertaining, it's entertaining. It is what it is. Ana Rodriguez, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. She says, as a girl who thought the Red Pill guys were actually pretty cool at one point, they can Red Pill my behind. They're the downgrade eBay version. Facts. No, and that's what we've been trying to say. Okay, a lot of the things. It's not that we're trying to debunk or diminish the Red Pill or anything like that. It's not that. What we're trying to say is, listen, bro, take what these guys say with a grain of salt, because the advice they're giving you, a lot of times, it's not from experience. It's regurgitated, because if you look at their experience they had, it does not match up to the stuff that they're preaching to you. That's it. And now, what did I tell you guys a long ass time ago? All right, last year I told you 2023 will be a year of vindication. Our channel and every other channel has been criticizing these bozos will be vindicated, because these guys will eventually expose themselves. It's 2023. We're not even in the second month, and look at what's happening. Guys, thank you so much for being here. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you chose to be here. Make sure you hit the like button. Check out Alex from Playing with Fire. All right, let's hope that debate comes through with Rolo, because Rolo's got a lot of problems. She also got a lot of problems with Abba and Preach, and let's make sure that their GoFundMe hits 20K, because I want to see more videos on them too as well. So there's a lot of things, as you guys can see, happening in the Red Pill space right now. Lots of traction, lots of energy, all right, and lots of people to get fried. So with that being said, you definitely want to subscribe to my channel, go over to Alex, all right, and make sure you don't want to miss or skip a beat, all right? And with that being said, guys, I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Good night, guys.